4th grade ELA text set fiction/realistic. Think about your name. Maybe you're named for a grandparent, or maybe your name means something special. Who has a first or last name that some people find hard to pronounce? This story is about a boy who comes to America with only his name, which has always been very special to him, but nobody says it the right way. Let's see what he does about it. Don't worry, the wise one said as Sangoel prepared to leave the refuge camp. You carry a Dinka name. It is the name of your father and of your ancestors before him. The old man hugged him, and Sangoel could feel the bones in his thin arms. Remember, you will always be a Dinka. You will be Sangoel, even in America. So Dinka is the name of Sangoel's tribe from his home in Sudan. How do you think the wise one's words make Sangoel feel as he prepares to leave? Sangoel's father was killed in the war in Sudan. His family had to run from the fighting in the middle of the night. Sangoel was a refugee. He did not have a home. He did not have a country. Many people in the camp were waiting to be resettled, but the wise one could not leave. No country wanted one who was too old to work. In America, you will have a new home, Sangoel's friends told him. You will never again have to escape in the night. Everyone waved goodbye as Sangoel's little sister Lily cried. Silent tears rolled down Mama's cheeks. Sangoel knew he would never see his friends again. The sky boat took them to America. Everywhere, people rushed around, speaking English very fast. The stairs in the airport moved, and Mama was afraid to step on them. Doors opened by magic. Bright, flashing lights made Sangoel's eyes burn. He shivered in his head, and his head ached. There, Mama, look. There, Mama, look, he shouted. Our name. He spoke in Dinka, the language of his ancestors, and pointed across the huge room. Sangoel was only 8, but he was the man of the family. He grabbed Mama's hand and pulled her and Lily through the crowd. He stopped in front of the woman who held the sign. She smiled at Sangoel. You must be. She frowned and looked at the paper in her hand. Sangoel? Sangoel shook his head and kept his eye on the floor. My name is Sangoel, he said softly in the simple English he had learned in the camp. I am Mrs. Johnson, the woman said. Welcome to America. She threw her arms around Mama and Lily. She bent down and squeezed Sangoel. She smelled like flowers. Mama and Mrs. Johnson were both crying. Sangoel blinked back tears. Wow, there's a lot going on in this picture. I don't know where to look first. Do you? How does this picture make you feel? Why did the illustrator pack in so many colors and words? America's big and open and free. There was no barbed wires to keep them in. Mrs. Johnson showed them how to cross the street. All the cars stopped when the light was red, but Mama would not move until Mrs. Johnson helped her. Their new home was called an apartment. Mrs. Johnson brought a big bag of used clothes. She showed Mama how to cook on the stove. Sangoel translated. Everyone practiced pushing the buttons on the telephone. They learned how to eat with forks. The TV was a box with real people inside. Lily cried when Sangoel turned it on. She cried again when he turned it off. The next day, Mrs. Johnson took Sangoel for a checkup. The doctor stared at the medical form and scrunched up her forehead. Sangoel, how are you? My name is Sangoel, he mumbled. I am well. The doctor nodded and listened to his heart. Her hands were cold. And when it was time to go to school, Sangoel did not want to leave Mama and Lily, but Mama said, you must go to school. Sangoel remembered the words of the wise one. Education is your mother and your father. So, what are some of the new things Sangoel and his family experienced in the United States? The teacher gave him his own desk, but when she introduced him to this class, she scrunched up her forehead, trying to read his name. This is Sangoel. Sang, the girl next to him called out. The kids laughed. Sangoel lowered his head. He remembered the wise one's words and held his anger inside. My name is Sangoel, he whispered, but no one heard. Mrs. Johnson signed him up for football, but in America they call it soccer. Everyone on the team got a brand new shirt as blue as the sky in Sudan. Sangoel lined up with the other boys, and the coach called out each of their names. When he frowned at the paper, Sangoel knew whose name he would call next. My name is Sangoel, he said before the coach could say it wrong. As Sangoel walked home from practice, one of his teammates ran up. Hey, Sango. My name is Sangoel, he called softly as the boy ran off. So people keep pronouncing Sangoel's name, but he speaks very quietly when correcting them. Why do you think that is? Sangoel wore his new soccer shirt that night at dinner, but he still wasn't happy. The rice stuck in his throat, and he wished he were back at the camp. What's the matter? Mama asked. In America, I've lost my name. Mama sighed. Her eyes were sad. America is our home now. Perhaps you need an American name. The words of the wise sang in his memory. You will always be Sangoel. That night, Sangoel slept on a rug on the floor instead of his American bed. He had bad dreams about war and running and hiding. In the morning, Lily giggled and pointed to the letters on his shirt. Dynamo. Sangoel told her. He straightened his shoulders. It is my team name. See the ball? Then Sangoel had an idea. He dumped all the clothes out of the bag Mrs. Johnson had brought. In the pile he found an almost white shirt. He got his school markers and went to work. Finally Sangoel put the markers away. He took off his brand new soccer shirt. He put on his almost white shirt and went to school. All the children crowded around to read Sangoel's shirt. My name is, it said across the top. After the words, there were two pictures. It's a sun and a soccer ball. The boy named Billy said, It's a goal. The girls next to him said, Your name is Sangoel? Sangoel nodded and smiled. So people keep mispronouncing. Oh, I'm sorry. What do you think Sangoel did with the markers in the almost white T-shirt? Why did he do that? The girl took a piece of paper out of her desk. She made a quick design and held it up. I am Carmen, Sangoel said. Yes. The girl had two thumbs up. Other students began tearing pages out of their notebooks and grabbing markers from their desks. Across the room, a boy held up his paper. My name is Jason. I'm Keisha. Another girl waved her picture like a flag. Toby drew a toe and a bee. You had a good idea, Sangoel. His teacher gave him a big smile. And you have a very good name. He stood tall and proud. It is the name of my father and my grandfather and his father before him, he said. My name is Sangoel, even in America. So, people who are forced to leave their homes and seek protection in a new country are called refugees. There are more than 30 million refugees in the world today. Most of them are women and children. Refugees like Sangoel flee their country because of war or persecution based on race, religion, or political ideas. A refugee often has to leave home at a moment's notice and may not be able to bring along family members, money, clothing, or food. A refugee camp is a large guarded area where people are forced to stay until they find a country that will give them a home. Families live in tents or huts and have little to eat. Often there are no schools, no electricity, no clean drinking water. Refugees come from many countries. Sangoel is from the Dinka tribe in southern Sudan, which is the largest country in Africa. Years of war and persecution have forced many people to leave Sudan. In some cultures, like the Dinka, the firstborn son carries the name of his ancestors as his first name. That name is also his last name, and he might have a middle name as well. So Sangoel would have the name Sangoel, Shugab, Sangoel, for example. For many years, people coming to the United States to make a new home was were given Americanized names. Today, more people choose to keep the name that connects them to their heritage.